In the sleepy village of Amanutu, where the roosters crowed at dawn and life moved to the rhythm of quiet traditions, one household trembled under the reign of a formidable ruler. Not a king, not a chief, but a young girl named Dada. With a scowl that could silence storms and a voice that commanded even the family dog, she ruled her siblings like a general, turning their home into a battlefield of chores and punishments. But when whispers of her impending marriage sparked hope of freedom for her beleaguered brothers and sister, a question loomed. Could the Iron Lady of Amanutu ever truly let go, or would her grip on the family remain unbreakable? Long ago, in the serene village of Amanutu, nestled among lush greenery and quiet pathways, a family of 5 children lived under the care of their widowed mother, affectionately called Mamina. The nickname didn't stem from her own name, but from her eldest son, Una, whose tranquil demeanor made him the calmest young man the village had ever known. Mamina's husband, Papana, had passed away years earlier, leaving her to single-handedly raise her children, always clutching a broom as both a tool and a symbol of her authority. By tradition, Una, as the firstborn, was expected to assume the role of family leader, a father figure to his younger siblings. However, his younger sister, Dada, boldly claimed that position, transforming the household into her personal domain. Dada, the second-born, was a force of nature from the moment she could speak. She wore leadership like a crown, her authority as natural as breathing. Without seeking permission or awaiting approval, she declared herself the ruler of the household, and the family, caught off guard by her commanding presence, simply fell in line. Born with a perpetual scowl etched across her face, Dada carried herself as though she had personally ushered her siblings into the world. Even as a young girl, she exuded an air of solemnity, her seriousness draped around her like a traditional wrapper, her authority cinched tightly like a belt of beads. Her voice boomed louder than any loudspeaker, and when she issued commands, the entire household, including the family's timid dog, snapped to attention, tails tucked and ears perked. The 3 younger siblings, Obina, Chinedu, and Chisoba, lived in awe and dread of Dada's reign. They feared her more than the fiercest storms, more than the sting of a cane, and even more than Mamina's ever-present broom. A single misstep, like Chinedu leaving a cup on the table, would summon Dada from thin air, her voice thundering. "Do you want ants to hold a festival in our home? Wash that cup this instant." If Obina dared to sleep past dawn instead of sweeping the compound, Dada would rouse him with a bucket of cold water at 5:30 a.m., declaring, "If you won't sweep, perhaps you'll train for the Olympics in your bed." Each morning, she lined up her siblings like soldiers, assigning tasks with military precision. Failure to complete them before the rooster's third crow meant a sharp rap on the head, a lashing, or both. Dada's punishments were delivered with theatrical flair. She would lecture her siblings, shake her head in mock disappointment, and say, "Didn't I warn you?" before administering a flogging with the gravitas of a national ceremony. When the younger ones protested, crying, "You're not our mother," Dada would only intensify her discipline, retorting, "Exactly why you need extra training. I'm molding you for greatness, and you'll thank me later." Her rule wasn't confined to the home. She extended her iron grip to the schoolyard. During breaks, if she caught Obina or Chisoba playing games like 10-10 instead of studying their times tables, she'd seize them by the ears and march them behind the school, delivering whispered threats so chilling they could make even the boldest confess to imaginary crimes. The schoolchildren developed a warning system for Dada's approach, shouting, "Whistle, whistle, Da is coming," as a signal to scatter like startled insects when a light is switched on. While the village elders admired Dada's commanding presence, her siblings viewed her as a tyrant, counting the days until her marriage might free them. Obina once confided in Chinedu, "Even if she weds a ghost and vanishes into the spirit world, I'd be relieved." Mamina, far from intervening, was Dada's biggest supporter, often beaming with pride and saying, "Ada is worth more than a dozen sons. She's the backbone of this family. Respect her." Meanwhile, the younger siblings stood behind her, silently pleading for rescue with their eyes. Una, the eldest, was an enigma. Despite his strong build, he had the temperament of a dove, valuing harmony over power. When his younger siblings sought his help against Dada's tyranny, he would only sigh and say, "She's doing it for your own good. Just obey her." Frustrated, Obina once asked, "Una, are you really our brother, or did they adopt you before Dada was born?" Una would chuckle, shaking his head like a wise elder, never challenging her authority. Thus, Dada ruled the household like a warlord, with Una as her silent ally, Mamina as her cheerleader, and the younger trio enduring relentless discipline. Hope glimmered one day when Chisoba, visiting her friend Ozzy, heard a rumor. A man was interested in marrying Dada. Ozzy, giggling, said, "You must know by now, my sister overheard it. Someone wants to marry your Dada." Chisoba's heart leaped. She raced home and burst into the room, shouting, "Dada's getting married." Chinidu dropped his phone and broke into a joyful dance, while Obina leaped up, yelling, "Freedom is coming." They celebrated as if liberation was imminent, with Chisoba marking the date on the wall and Obina sharing a sachet of water like fine wine. But weeks turned into months with no wedding in sight, and their hopes began to fade like a cheap dye in the rain. Chisoba confided in Obina, "I think Dada will stay here forever. She probably scared the man off." Indeed, Dada showed no signs of leaving. Instead, she tightened her grip, instituting daily roll calls at 9 a.m., barking, "Line up. Who swept? Who fetched water? Who thinks this house is a guest lodge?" One evening, Obina returned late from football practice, exhausted and sweaty. Dada met him at the door, arms crossed, her face sterner than stale bread. "Where have you been?" she demanded. "Training," he muttered. "Training to be a wayward husband? Kneel down." When Obina protested, "I'm not a child anymore," Dada laughed mockingly and sent him to fetch water from the stream in the dead of night. Chinidu fared no better. Leaving his slippers in the living room earned him a lashing as Dada roared, "Who left these rags in my parlor? This house needs a dictator." Chisoba's crime was chewing gum and snapping her fingers like a social media star. Dada pounced. "Are you mocking me? Go wash those clothes in the backyard, and if I see lipstick on you again, you'll swallow it." Their suffering was unrelenting, and even the neighbors noticed. An elderly man told Chinidu, "Your sister is no ordinary woman. In my day, she'd have been a shrine priestess, chasing out demons." Yet Una remained steadfast in his support, urging Chinidu to endure when he rebelled, saying, "Don't break the family over small fights. She means well." Suitors came, but Dada interrogated them mercilessly, questioning their jobs, income, and even bathing habits, until they fled. Chinidu composed a song. "Dada, our general, your rule is our sorrow. This house is a battlefield." The cycle of hope and disappointment continued until a stranger named Gazier arrived in Amanu. Tall, dark, and broad-shouldered, he carried himself with purpose, introducing himself as the new youth coordinator at the church. His warm smile earned him the nickname Gentle Lion, and he quickly won the village's affection, especially Dada's. During a choir practice, where Dada had forcibly claimed the role of choir mistress, Gazier walked in, and their eyes locked. For a moment, she faltered, then snapped, "Sopranos, stop singing like sleepy flies." That night, Chisoba caught Dada humming love songs and fussing with her hair, her cheeks flushed. "Why are you acting like a schoolgirl?" Chisoba teased. Dada snapped back, but her blush betrayed her feelings. Gazier began appearing wherever Dada went, helping with her market bags and greeting her warmly. Mamina noticed, saying, "Ada, this man looks at you like stew looks at yam. What's going on?" Dada brushed it off as church work, but she was smitten. When Gazier proposed, the siblings' hopes soared. Chinidu sang, "Freedom's coming like a holiday feast. Take her away. Don't hesitate." But Obina cautioned, "Let's wait until she's gone for good." The wedding preparations were a village spectacle. Gazier's family brought gifts, and the compound buzzed with excitement. Mamina planned the feast like a royal event, while the siblings eagerly helped, hoping for liberation. Yet, as the day neared, Dada grew pensive, confiding in Una. Is Gazier the right man? Something feels off. Una reassured her. You've always been the one in control. Let someone else take the lead for once. The wedding was a grand affair, with Dada radiant in her lace gown. As she left with Gazier, the siblings danced and sang. She's gone. No turning back. For 3 days, they reveled in their newfound freedom, with no roll calls or punishments. But on the 4th day, a loud knock shattered their peace. Chinidu opened the gate to find Dada, stern and commanding, as if she'd never left. Dada, you're back? What happened? He stammered. She brushed past, saying, I'm here to check on you all. Mamina, alarmed, asked if Gazier had mistreated her, but Dada dismissed her concerns. Spotting the disarray, Obina dozing, Chinidu's rumpled clothes, and Chisoba returning from a night out, Dada resumed her rule, grounding Chisoba and barking orders. The siblings' brief freedom vanished, and they wondered, was her return temporary, or would they remain under her iron rule forever? Only time would tell. Give Hook this article.